What's good, fam? I'm out here in Berthoud, Colorado today. Some of the footage you'll see is going to be from a few parks. I've been gathering up footage slowly on this backside air, and wanted to do, before I put it out, wanted to get some commentary and do some more demonstrations. So let's get warmed up and get into it. All right, so what you want to do when you're warming up to learn this trick. So we're doing leg grab backside airs at, under, and maybe even over coping today. But you want to warm up with some tail scraper kick turns. You can use any quarter pipe for this. It's a good way to warm up because it gets you going backside. And then once you do a few of those, I'll show you the next step, which is just tail scraper kick turns with a touch. I grab backside. Some people grab the nose. Grab where it feels comfortable for you. I like backside because I have a lot of leverage. I could pick the board up and kind of keep the board to my feet that way. So I'm going to use this wall back here and set the camera down and show you some backside tail scraper kick turns. Great way to warm up because you're going to want to scrape that tail when you're doing these. All right, here we go. All right, so in case you're wondering, because some people get caught up in the details, this is a 4-foot quarter pipe. Not mellow, not steep, kind of just perfect. All right, here we go. Let's get some tail scraper kick turns right here on this wall. All right, so once you've done some of those, and try to scrape where you're still going up at least a little bit. Definitely do the kick turn while scraping, and then you put the front down to kind of drop back in on transition. Next, you want to add the grab. You can kick turn. You don't have to worry about a long grab. It's okay if you get a good grab. You want to hold on. But basically at this point, you're trying to touch, tail scrape, and kick turn. Let's do a few. I got some good ones there, but I realized you can't even see the hand, so I'm going to move the camera to the other side so you can see the grab. All right, so that quarter pipe was kind of small. I'm running out of room. And when you're warming up, trying to get your grabs solid, you don't want to be worried about scraping and locking up and things like that. So I'm going to move to a steeper, taller. This one's a little bit probably over, here it is, I don't know how to do this backwards, 5 feet. It's steeper, it's taller, it gives me about another foot to grab and scrape on. So let's get a few more here, still warming up. All right, so your next step is kind of the same thing, except this time when you grab, if at all possible, you want to try and lift that front leg as much as you can, pulling at least one or both of the back wheels off the wall while you kind of tail scrape, tail pivot, kick turn back in. It's kind of hard to get both of them off, but it's possible. Really pull the back leg up. The front leg up at this point, and that is how you actually get the board to come to your hand. You're not necessarily just pressing on the tail. You're pressing on the tail, of course, but when you lift your front foot, it makes the tail go down because the only thing left on the board is the back foot. So the tail goes down, the nose comes up, you grab backside or you grab the nose. I like backside again because of leverage. So now when you get the good solid grab, you want to lift the leg as much as you can, kind of really push that tail into the wall and pull the board up to your feet, kind of picking up your board, even though the tail is going to stay in the transition. Let's try to get a few. All right, so just took a look at those for all of them. I had 3 wheels off the wall. Like I said, that 4th one is kind of hard until you add this next step, which is add the apex of that turn. When you have a good grab, 3 wheels are off the wall, suck up the back leg literally as much as you can. If you can match it, and the reason I'm saying that is because it's kind of difficult, but if you can match the level of bend that you have to the front, you're gonna pull off the wall and start getting airs at and under coping. That is the next step. Let's get some. Okay, so took a look at those and they did come off. It's tiny. You really have to get in your head that it's a muscle. It's a muscle off because this is not vert. It's steep. It's a little over 5 foot, but it's definitely not vert. On vert, these are actually easier, but this is what we have to work with today. And we're gonna be bopping, bonking, bumping into coping, running into coping, and letting that be our signal to suck them up. But you really have to suck them up more and make sure you have good board control as far as the grab, to where you keep the board to your feet and you pull it up as you lift the back leg. Pick the board up off the ramp, literally. So I'm gonna start doing some on the ground to show you what I'm actually trying to replicate once I'm on the wall. It's easier on the wall. It's just a little, I don't know even know if it's scarier. Just you have speed, you've got the scrape, you get a good grab. The only thing easier I think about the ground is that the grab is in your hand. I'm not grabbing late on the ground. I'm literally putting my hand in the perfect grab and then doing the motion that I want to replicate on the wall. Let's do some. On the tail, just like you were riding. Front foot here, get the grab, early grab this one. You're practicing picking up the board, not so much the grab. You get a perfect grab, pull, lift. We'll try to show some different angles. So backside 1, 2, so you can see the grab. Here behind the wheel, in front of the foot. Going up the wall, you grab, you're scraping. That's the same motion, except as you're doing that, you're making a turn, a carve back in. All right, so it's a matter of doing that with just as much intensity and strength off the wall, and that's how you do them. Let's get a bunch into it. Let's get good at it. Let's kill the fear of coping and actually use it to our advantage as a signal, as an assistance for the bonk and the pull off the wall. The key here is a solid grab. All right, so just want to jump in here because I'm about to talk on the significance of getting a solid grab. And the way you do that is by, number one, is reaching down for the board where you want to grab early. So you can get comfortable with early grab kick turns. You can get comfortable with early grab backside airs. And what happens eventually is, because that teaches you how to do the same trick, you just have way more leverage when you're grabbing early, because all this talk about scraping the tail and this stuff, none of that matters when you're grabbing early, because you're actually jumping off the board and you're keeping the board with you the entire time. I don't early grab the bunny hop way. When I do early grabs, I actually do the same motion as I would be doing when I'm airing. So what I'm getting at is you can practice with early grabs. That gets your brain comfortable with grabbing where you want to grab. It kind of wires your brain with repetition. Then you can start trying to grab in the same place while kick turning, which I've already done in this video. And that's how you get comfortable with it. You can also, I've talked about the primal squat. That helps you get low and get a nice solid grab. I'm grabbing backside. I like that. Some people grab the nose. I used to grab the nose. I just could not keep the back foot connected. My back foot still comes off even with this much more of a solid leverage grab, which is backside. You want to go ultra leverage, grab melon. I don't grab melon. I just haven't worked into it. I just haven't put in the work to be able to do it. I'm pretty close to melon, but I'm backside, right in front of the foot, but behind the wheel, as you've seen and as you'll see through the rest of the video. But you get good at grabs, which is so important. The grab is I don't want to say everything, but the grab has a lot to do with your success here. And you get good by squatting down, primal squat on the board, grab where you want to grab. Show your brain, show your hand. This is where you are. This is what I want to feel when I grab. Start doing early grab kick turns where you want to grab. Do early grab backside airs where you want to grab. And then start trying them late. Start with the kick turns first. Then you progressively work in. What we're doing today is late grab backside airs, under coping, at coping, and then at the end, you actually see me go over coping using a feature that I'll talk about a little bit later. All right, let's get back into the video. If you can get really good at the grab and keep that board to your feet as much as possible and keep in alignment with the board, land and ride it out. The landing doesn't stop when the wheels reconnect. You gotta ride it out all the way to flat. We're gonna get really good at this and you'll be able to do them, and it's really fun. And you can do it on other transitions that don't have vert, like what we're doing today, which are a little mentally less scary, but honestly harder and takes a lot more muscle and effort. But let's get some in. All right, so what you're gonna see here is I'm gonna switch it up. I'm taking it to another, this is some footage from a different park. What I just did there, I got a few where we pulled off, I slowed it down, showed you, you can clearly see it's off when you slow it down. That's over 5 feet, but between 5.5, I'm not 100% sure. I do know that this next one is closer to 8. It might be 8, might be a little bit taller. And then the one you'll see at the very end, you'll be able to tell it's a different park. It's an older park. That one is right around 7, I'm guessing. So that was 5-ish. I'm showing you a bunch on an 8, and then a nice handful on the 7 at the end. The other thing you'll see me do at the end of the 7 is fly out with a grab. Another good way to get comfortable with grabs is to grab where you want to grab while you're flying out, because there's no risk really. You're not going to hang up on a fly out unless you go straight up, and even then you'll come down and land into disaster and you can walk out onto the deck. But that's not going to happen. You'll get the flyouts. You get really comfortable with grabbing in the air. So that's another way to get comfortable with grabbing where you want to grab. For me, it's backside, is do some flyouts. I'll show you one at the end. All right, let's get back into it. Okay, so what you're gonna see now is me change up the backside air. And what happened was, I'm going back to the 5-ish foot steep quarter pipe. And what happened was, I'm in a skate session, my friend is showing up, and I don't wanna spend the whole session just hammering out this one trick, like the at coping or beneath and at coping backside airs there. So what I did was I switched it up and started skating more, and then also started to go for, I said, hey, let me go through coping. This isn't vert, so I know it's not gonna throw me straight up. I would really have to muscle it off. I'm not gonna go over coping today because I feel like I'm just gonna hang up. I don't wanna get hurt and all this stuff. I need to wait for vert or something at least a little steeper than this. So what I did was I decided to switch focus and practice with a late grab. I wanted to practice scraping through the transition, bonking and scraping through coping, late grab, backside air transfer from the quarter pipe into a larger quarter pipe. And what this does is it really helps you learn how to pilot your backside airs, because it's the same feeling that you're gonna get when you bonk through coping. It's the same grab you wanna get, but it lets you pilot it. It lets you practice keeping the board to the feet, turning that at least 90-degree angle, not quite 180, landing on the heels and riding out the landing all the way through to flat. So this is a great way to get your pilot license for backside airs. Find a feature that has a quarter pipe that goes into a bigger quarter pipe and get some backside airs. Blast through coping and learn how to pilot those, because it's a little bit different than pulling off the wall piloting, and because you get more airtime and you really have to, pilot going up, pilot horizontally, and then pilot it coming back in as well. So it's like 3 stages of pilot. Not that it's more difficult, you just need to get those legs, you need to get those sea legs. And the only way to do it is to get time in the seat. So you can get your pilot's license like that. Let me get a few right here for you. Backside air, leg grab, focusing on scraping up the wall, letting the back wheels and the tail hit coping, and then going into the air, piloting it as I transfer into the other quarter pipe. Let's take a look. Fam, that's gonna wrap it up for this one. We took you from the tail scrape kick turn, the tail scrape kick turn with the grab, the tail scrape kick turn with the grab where you pull at least 3, hopefully 4 wheels, 3 to 4 wheels off of the wall, to lifting the foot, catching air at and under coping, and also the exercise where you actually practice these on the ground. To showing you on different transitions, 5 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot transition. It does get easier the steeper the wall and the more time you have to scrape, grab, and pull off. So the 8 and the 7 were easier actually than the 5, not mentally, but actually. And then finally, you saw if you can find a feature where you can blast through coping and learn how to pilot and land these. You put all of that together, get really good. The next step is to actually hit vert and do exactly all of that at vert level. And then you've got backside air. So this is kind of the pathway to it from start to finish. Hope you enjoyed. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments. Peace. I'm out. Appreciate you.